Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with my March budget. I also have another new budget spreadsheet that I'm going to be debuting in this video, and I want to talk to you a little bit about how baby step 3 is coming along for us. So if you have interest in any of the above, be sure to stick around. Okay, so here we are inside my new budget spreadsheet. I apologize in advance if the windows behind me are a little distracting. This is my new office. It's very bright in here and it's even rainy and gloomy today. I love it for working, but for filming, it can be a little weird. Anyway, hopefully it won't bother you too much. Today's video is going to be probably substantially longer than my budgeting videos usually are because I want to walk you through this new spreadsheet. Now, if you remember a couple months back, I had switched to a different new spreadsheet. And when I did that, I had quite a few of you reaching out asking if I had that for sale somewhere with the rest of my budgeting printables. And the answer was no, I did not. So you might have noticed that I tried to list one for sale for all of maybe 5 minutes and I took it down because I didn't like it. I wasn't happy with it. So I have since last month's budgeting video, I have been working on this one, and this is finally for sale in my Etsy shop. And I am going to put a coupon code for you guys in the description box if this is something you want to use. I want to let you know that if you know how to use a spreadsheet program, you can just as easily make your own. Some people just don't want to be bothered because the formatting takes a long time. This is completely customizable, especially if you know how to use Excel or a spreadsheet program. You know, you can purchase it and do your thing, make it your own. So if you do purchase, just a note, it is going to look very similar to mine, but also different in some ways because I definitely created this and then customized it to our specific situation. So the debt section is removed on here. Whereas if you look on the one on Etsy, there's a whole section for debts. And I don't have any debt anymore at this point, so there was really no sense in keeping that on my spreadsheet. I'll talk a little bit more as we go through it, and there's just a couple other things that I'll point out as we go through the video. So the one thing I will mention is I'm filming this a little bit early this month, so some of these are definitely going to be estimates. Now, in the spreadsheet you'd purchase in Etsy, I actually have the whole first column here as an estimate. So if you are doing your budget in advance every month, like you should be doing, the point of a budget is to be proactive and do it before the month comes so you have a plan for your money that month. However, I do our budget in, some people call it a paycheck method, some people call it a half method. I kind of go back and forth between calling it the first half of the month, the second half of the month, but I have it labeled with our first pay of the month and the second pay of the month. We live mostly on my husband's paychecks. So he is paid bi-monthly, and what we kind of do is pay everything due in the first half of the month within his first paycheck, and everything due in the second half of the month falls within his second paycheck. So that's why here I have my columns listed as first pay and second pay. Now, I will list my budgeting playlist up here in the cards. I have a whole bunch of budgeting videos. I do one like this every single month. And if you're really having a hard time budgeting, people have told me before that it's very helpful for them to watch videos like this. So feel free to check those out and kind of go through each month. See, maybe you'll find a trick or a tip that will help you kind of really figure out maybe what you're missing or where you might be going wrong. Sometimes it just takes one video or one blog post or one article and it all clicks for you. I do share our real numbers in my budgeting videos, but what I do not do is share the actual breakdown of our income. So my husband's income fluctuates and every paycheck is different. We don't even bother trying to figure it out. I get the question a lot when people have an irregular income on how do you plan. There's a couple different ways. I actually have a blog post that lays out 3 specific ways that you can budget when your income is irregular. I will leave a link to that down below as well. But I will tell you what's worked best for us is I take a low estimate every month of every paycheck. And throughout the month, I'll come in and I'll update my spreadsheet. The one you'll find in Etsy, there's a place to put your estimated income and expenses. And then as your correct income and expenses come in throughout the month, you'll take a minute, go in there and update and put your actual numbers in the second column of the spreadsheet. That actually will give you a difference and show you how far off and how far your estimates might have been off, or how good you estimated to begin with. Again, I'm not doing that on my spreadsheet. I'm using first pay and second pay. Also, because I do these videos, I think it's a better way to show you guys what the breakdown is and explain our budget better to you. I want to make sure if I'm doing these videos that it's easy for you to understand, or I guess they're kind of pointless. So when I estimate our income, my husband gets a small amount from the VA each month, and then we have his paycheck, and then if we have any additional income that happens to come in that month, these are the 3 lines. For the purpose of these videos, since I don't break everything down and share where each part comes from, I am just going to estimate the first paycheck of the month because I know he has some overtime in there. I'm going to estimate that at $1,900, and then I'm going to come down here and estimate the second paycheck of the month as also $1,900. Now these are probably low estimates. I'm assuming his paycheck will probably come in higher, but depending on when his union dues are taken out or his health insurance is taken out, again, I would much rather estimate low. And then if we have extra money to play around with throughout the month, that's great. But if I estimate high and we give a name to dollars that aren't really here, then we're kind of screwed come the end of the month. And I feel like we're scrambling to figure out how we can pay for certain things that we had built into our budget for that month. Now you can see right away over here on this side of the budget spreadsheet, it is going to start calculating. So it's going to take the income from the first half of the month, and here it's going to take the income from the second half of the month. Now we're going to go down to our expenses. So I have these little check boxes in here. You can use these check boxes one of 2 ways. You can either use them almost as you're reconciling your account. So when you're hopping on through your bank account throughout the month, and you should be hopping on your bank account throughout the month, you can actually go in and check these boxes as your payments are clearing. Or the way I like to use them is as I make the payments, as I'm sitting down and paying my bills, I will open the spreadsheet as well, and I will go in and check these off as I'm making these payments. That way I can quickly look on my spreadsheet and have a really fast glance of what's paid for the month and what's still open for the month. So you could use those in whichever way best serves your purpose. So the new way we've been paying our mortgage this year is I take $708 out of the first pay and out of the second pay, and we send that to our Ally savings account, and then our Ally savings account pays our mortgage automatically each month. I have our gas bill estimated, and what I did was just use the payments that came in from last month. That's how I normally estimate. It's just an easy way to fill those in. So when I copy my spreadsheet over for the next month to do my budget, I will just leave these in here until the bills come in, and then I will quickly hop in and add the actual amount of the bills. That's what I do for natural gas, electricity, water, and sewer. Our internet just went up. I think we are going to try and call them and see if I can negotiate a lower rate, because that is absurd. $84 a month for internet. This is normal wireless internet, mind you. This isn't anything fancy. That is too high. Our cable just came up. So both of these contracts were up, and they have given us 2 price increases in the past 2 months. So we are looking at possibly bundling these. I'm not sure. We might cut the cable again altogether. I'll let you know what we decide. Our trash, we actually send trash. You know what? I'm going to put this with an asterisk here. We send our trash, this $27, we send right to our savings account, and that is pulled out on a quarterly basis to pay the trash bill. Our house maintenance, this is actually a cash envelope for us. So we send $25. It's usually $25 per pay, but if I know that needs to change for some reason this month, I'll change that. But we're fine. We don't need any more, but I always try to put at least 25 in because you know how quickly stuff can come up around your house. Our cell phone bill is $204. That comes out the first pay of the month. And yes, I know that's high. And believe it or not, that's with a pretty high discount on our account as well. So we might be shopping that around in the near future too. Our gas, I started tracking our gas for February. I don't have a final number yet, but I think this might be a little high. I think I'm going to separate these out to $100 each pay, but I think $200 for the month might be a little high. I will let you know next month how we finished out for the month. Groceries, we spend $200 each half, so that's $400 for the month. You can see the total in this cell here, $400 for the month, and we are going to spend $100 a week. That's how we purchase our groceries. We are a family of 4, and if you have a hard time setting a good grocery budget for yourself, $100 per month per person in your family is a really good place to start. Obviously, if you have specific allergies or dietary needs, sometimes that's going to fluctuate, or if you have babies in the family, but I suggest that's a great place to start. I do have a pretty detailed meal planning video coming up in the next couple of weeks. So if you struggle with meal planning, stay tuned for that, and hopefully that will give you some clarity. We have $30 a month that we budget for restaurants, and that is normally just grabbing Chipotle or something pretty much only once, not a month, every 2 weeks. That's pretty much just grabbing Chipotle and something for the kids once every 2 weeks. We don't eat out very often, and sometimes that doesn't even get used and it just gets spent on something else, some other miscellaneous, but that is what we budget for. I have $15 budgeted here for Sam's each pay. This is our toilet paper, our paper towels, our dog food, our napkins, all of those type of things. And in fact, this might have to go up at some point in the month because I think we're starting to run out. I'm still playing around with this amount to see what I can put in each paycheck that will really cover us every time we need to go to Sam's, because what I find happening is we'll go and we'll need a couple things all at once and then there's not enough money in there. So I will update that as we go along. I also entered a line item for Walmart for us here. It seems that about once a month I've been doing a Walmart grocery pickup. It usually costs us anywhere from $40 to $50. So again, I'm trying to kind of track that. I'm going to start keeping it in a notebook and paying closer attention to kind of our purchasing habits when I do that with Walmart, and see if I can get us on a little bit of a schedule that, okay, throughout the month, I'm going to go in and fill out this order, and then at the end of the month, I will do the grocery pickup order. I'm not quite sure yet, but I wanted to add a line item in this new budget and kind of pay a little bit more attention to that. My kids here, I have sports and activity fees. We already signed up and paid for their spring sports, so I don't have anything in there right now. Kid commission, you can see our kid commission video up here. I will link that, and I budget $10 every pay for kid commissions. Kid stuff here, I have $10 in here because I know I have to order a yearbook for my son this paycheck, so I'm going to lessen that, and then we will give the normal $25 per pay. That envelope has nothing in it right now because my daughter just did something with her friends and used the rest of it. This is the cash envelope section. Obviously, if you purchase this budget and you do not want to do cash envelopes or you don't use the cash envelope system, this can be completely deleted from the spreadsheet. Now, I have mine all linked, so these will populate automatically as I adjust the amounts up top. I do not have it linked on the spreadsheet for purchase because if I link that and somebody wants to delete it, it's going to mess with all the formulas. So what you would want to do if you purchase this and you know how to use Excel, you can go ahead and link them so that this will auto-populate as you change something over here. However, if you don't know Excel, then you can just manually go ahead and enter the amounts, and what it's going to do, it's going to show you what you're spending on car maintenance for the full month. It's going to total that over here on the right hand side, and then on the bottom it's going to give you the total amount of cash. Again, for me it's per paycheck, the total amount of cash down here that I need to take out of the bank for that paycheck to fill our envelopes. So I will go over these at the end. For now, we're going to come back up here. This is our charity. We give $100 to our church. This we give to World Vision. You already know that if you've seen these videos before. This is spontaneous giving. I don't set a specific budget for this. At some point in the future, we probably will do that. But for now, what we do is if something comes up and we want to give, we give. And then we kind of figure it out afterwards. I know that's not necessarily the way to go about it, but I feel like we are still kind of going as gazelle intense as we can right now until we finish baby step 3. And then we will definitely be revamping our budget categories, especially the charity section. Next, for our emergency fund, this is blank for now, and I'm going to show you what my plan is for this line item at the end. We are not currently contributing to retirement savings since we are on baby step 3, which is save 3 to 6 months of emergency funds. And when we do get to that, I will enter that in there. My husband does contribute to his pension through work, so we don't even see that money. It's taken automatically out of his pay, and we don't even see it. Stash, if you've seen my videos before, then you know Stash is the little investing app that I kind of use some of my personal money for. I think I always have a link down below if you want to try it out. You can get $5 to invest when you start an account. Sinking funds, we are not currently contributing to any sinking funds at this time. We kind of have those on hold until we are finished with baby step 3. And then we are going to set up probably a vacation sinking fund, a car sinking fund, and we'll see what else our needs are at that time. We do have some smaller sinking funds like the vet and car maintenance, but we kind of go back and forth between calling them sinking funds or just filling them with cash envelopes because they turn over so quickly and we go through them so quickly that they don't really amount to much. The other line item I have here in savings is extra to mortgage. Now, I just want to clarify this because this is new in our budget. We are not currently trying to pay off our mortgage over and above our normal payment at this time. What we are doing is I showed you how we were saving the money, half the mortgage payment each pay in our Ally savings account. Well, I am putting a little bit extra each paycheck into that account so that we do have a buffer in there. With it being automated, and I'm going to set up our transfers to automate as well, I really feel more comfortable with having an extra half a mortgage payment in there at all times. So right now I think we have maybe 300 extra, 250 extra I've gotten in there. So my goal is to put in 100 extra each pay if possible until we have about $700 or $800 extra dollars in there. So I'm going to go ahead and add 100 each half here, and we'll see if I need to adjust that down at all. Our auto insurance, this one I also want to give an asterisk. This gets transferred to our savings account. We actually have to pay this month, so I will not be transferring this to our savings account this month. It will just stay in our checking, and then I will pull the rest out of savings that's been building up over the past couple months, and I will pay this amount, which I think I have listed down below. Technically, I guess our auto insurance is a sinking fund because we contribute to it, put it in our savings account every month, and then we pull it out every 6 months to pay. Our life insurance, this is another one that just gets transferred to our savings account. And our life insurance is actually term insurance that is drafted directly from our savings account. So I just send it over there and it comes out automatically. I don't have to deal with paying it. Pet insurance here. This is an auto pay on our credit card. And I think I'm going to denote these differently, but for right now, I'm going to just add an asterisk. I amended the February budget to use this new spreadsheet, but March is the first month I'm doing start to finish on this spreadsheet. So forgive me for a couple little nuances that I'm figuring out here. Our cat food and our cat litter come automatically on auto ship from Target. I just canceled our cat litter because I'm going to be trying out something new that I found online, but the pet food is still coming, and I believe it's coming this pay. I have it set up to come every, I think it's 6 weeks maybe, and I forget the exact schedule, but that is, I believe, let's say about $19. So that will come out this paycheck. The vet care we just put in a cash envelope. This will get used up because I have a couple appointments to make. So I'm going to do 25 for each pay. Coming down here to the additional expenses, here's our personal money. My husband normally gets $65, but he actually paid for something on a credit card that was just about $65. So he is going to get $0 this month, and we're just going to pay off that portion of the credit card. In total, I get $60, but I took that money out up here, if you recall, for this stash. So there's $20 there. Gym membership, my husband belongs to the gym. That comes out the second pay for $9.95. Gifts, we will be putting $25 each pay in our gift envelope. Lunch money, I do $10 each pay. That is for my son and my husband. Doctor and medication envelope, $10 each pay. We don't have too much in there. I like to build it up so that we kind of have enough to cover everybody going to the doctor at once if we would all happen to get sick at once. So I don't know what that costs. Maybe $100. I don't know, but there's not that much sitting in there right now. Toiletries, I've been doing $10 a pay to a toiletry envelope. Personal care, I added this in here. We don't really have personal care. I don't even really know what that would be. Maybe massage, nails, something like that. We don't do anything like that at this time, but I did leave that one in just in case we should start at some point. Entertainment, we have $30 each pay. Miscellaneous expenses, those are just random things that might come up throughout the month that either we spent all our money and we're out, or something that we can't really find a category for. So that's $40 a pay. Haircuts, I put $10 a pay to the haircut envelope. Clothing, I'm adding nothing this pay, and I'm going to add $20 next pay. I'm going to start adding, so we have a little something for spring necessities. Sam's Club, 25 and 25, and that I think we already changed over here on the cash envelopes. Or did I? I don't remember. Sam's Club, 25 and 25. So here's something extra. I think I forgot to add this in February. My daughter is going to a summer camp, and we've been paying each month this amount. There's no interest. They allow you to just pay it via PayPal each month in installments, so you don't have to pay the full amount because it comes due right around Christmas time. And something else we're saving for, I'm not categorizing this as an actual sinking fund because this will be taken care of in probably 2 to 3 paychecks, but our pool dues will come due in, I believe they send it out at the end of April. So that is, I think, about $250 I'm going to start putting aside. Also, the yearbook, my son's is $19. Now, I just wanted to add, I have some extra lines in every section. You can obviously click on these and change these labels, take out ones that don't apply to you, add ones that do, leave the ones that work. I keep a bunch of extra lines at the bottom of this miscellaneous section here, and this is where I kind of just put in some random things that are happening that specific month. So next month I'll delete the yearbooks, but I'll keep these two because I'll still be saving for those. So this little section here is just kind of a note to self. I have this calculating to pull all of these couple things that I told you are going to our savings account. And this is just an extra reminder for myself that I need to transfer $214 into our savings account for the bills. So when I make that transfer, I'll just go ahead and check that off there. This $214 doesn't actually impact the budget in any way since they are already calculated up in that section above. Again, if you don't have any use for that section, you can either modify it to something that you need or just delete it altogether. I added a little section here just to my budget for notes. I do this on paper as well, but I wanted to just kind of note some things in here just for easy access to go back and look through if need be. So here I will just note that this is the month where we paid our bi-yearly auto insurance, and that's $746.50. If I have any other notes for the month, I will list them in here. I'm not sure how necessary this section is, but I'm going to give it a shot. So as I said, these cash envelopes are all totaled automatically from the categories over here. I want to point one thing out. Our spend category here is actually the total of miscellaneous, entertainment, and eating out for us. So I just total those all together because that goes in our spend envelope. We don't have individual envelopes for those categories. So this shows me that I need $340 to take out for this pay, and I'll take that out of the bank and fill our envelopes. And I also want to show one thing down here. This is a saving and sinking fund section. This I set up, this again is completely separate. You can delete it altogether. It will not affect any formulations or calculations up top. This is just simply an extra reference guide for myself so I can quickly take a glance and know what I have in these accounts at all times. So at the very end of February, our tax return came in and we were able to add that to our emergency fund. So we are currently 1/3 of the way done with baby step 3. I'm so excited. Our goal, I'm so excited. Our goal is $15,000 by the end of May. So now at the very end of February, beginning of March, we are 1/3 done. Obviously, I don't think we'll make it by the end of May. But hey, if we are 2/3 of the way there with $10,000, I will be thrilled with that. You can see these are our plans for sinking funds once we're done baby step 3, Christmas, new car, vacation. But for now, I also just have the pool dues listed here so I can get a quick glance. So if you wanted to, you could also link these to your prior spreadsheets each month. And what I have mine do is it will pull the current balance from the previous month's ending balance. That way, right when I start the month, I know what I'm starting with. And then whatever I'm able to add, I will mark in the credit line this month, and that will automatically adjust my ending balance. Or if we need to withdraw money for any purpose, I will mark that here. And I will mark the date here as well, just so I have a quick way to keep track of what's going on with our savings. Now, the last thing I want to talk about here is I told you we were going to come back to this emergency fund line here. This happened in February as well, and then my husband's paychecks came in fine, and we were able to put a little bit in our emergency fund. So what this does is this automatically pulls over the first half month income, or if you purchase it, it will pull over the estimated income. And then the second line will pull over the actual income and give you the difference. And what I did here is if you purchase a spreadsheet, this whole box will be the estimated income, and this whole box will be the actual income. So you'll be able to see the difference here. But again, I have modified mine to have this first box be the first half of the month. So here it automatically pulls the income that we estimated of $1,900, and it also pulls all of the expenses that we estimated of $1,943. Now we follow a zero-based budget, so I have this spreadsheet up, so this will give me the difference, and it should equal 0. So technically, this is showing a negative $43 remaining. So what I should do is go back and reduce one of our expenses by $43. So the easiest way to do that is to switch up the cash envelope amounts. So if I would lessen one of the cash envelope categories by $43, then this would automatically say 0. That means I'm using a zero-based budget, and that means my income will absolutely equal the amount of my expenses. And the way you would do that is by adjusting. So you come up here, if your difference is not 0, you want to make some adjustments. So what I can easily do here to make this 0 is go in here and make my husband's paycheck $1,943. Now you can see that switch that to 0. That means I completed a successful zero-based budget. However, I can leave it like that, or I can put it back to 1,900. It really doesn't matter because, like I said to you before, his paychecks are underestimated. So when I see a negative here, I'm not worried about that because I know by the time his paycheck amounts come in for the month, this should be covered no problem, and we would actually have a bit of a surplus. But for sake of example, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to estimate his paycheck at $2,000 instead. That gives us a difference of $57 to the good. So ideally, to complete a successful zero-based budget, I now need to go back into these expenses and add $57 somewhere. So since we are currently working on baby step 3, that is exactly where I would put this. Any money that we have left at the end of the month or the end of the pay period will go straight to our emergency fund. If you're in debt, then this spreadsheet will have a big debt section here, and anything left over you will go back and put towards your debt snowball. So here I have $57. I'm going to go in here on the emergency fund, and I'm going to send that $57 to our emergency fund. Now that automatically, as you can see, brought that difference back down to zero. That means my budget is completely evened out. It's all working out the way it's supposed to. As his paychecks come in, I will come into the spreadsheet and I will adjust this number. I will adjust his VA number, and I will just kind of give everything a look over, make sure everything's adding up and coming out the way it should. I will do the same thing when his paycheck comes in for the second half of the month. You can see right here, our second half of the month expenses are really high, and we are in a deficit here. So again, I'm a very big believer that you cannot be passive in your budgeting. You cannot just do this budget, set it up once in the beginning of the month and never come back to it. I do not do a good job of reconciling my budget at the very end of the month. That's something I want to try to start doing in the future. But for now, I am pretty hands-on throughout the month. I am in my bank accounts and in my budget, both the electronic version and in my budget binder a couple times a week. So I feel like I have a pretty good handle on the numbers and what's going on throughout the month. So I don't feel the need to sit down and do a formal reconciliation at the end of the month. But if your budget is starting in one place and you notice that month after month you're ending in a place that's not even close to what your plan was, then I highly suggest you spend some time, either more time throughout the month, paying attention to the numbers, being more hands-on with your budget and your bank accounts, or sit down and actually reconcile your budget officially each month. And hopefully that will help you get a better grasp. So that is our budget for the month. I apologize for this being so long, but I felt like the past couple budgeting videos, sorry, my dog's hopping up on the bed there, but I noticed the past couple budgeting videos, since everything had been so similar each month for us, and I felt like our numbers were kind of on autopilot, that I felt like I was just glossing over the numbers and moving way too quickly in the budgeting video. So I really wanted to take a minute and explain, especially with this new spreadsheet, explain what was going on, kind of my thought processes behind getting from here to there and what some of the different sections meant. So if you are a loyal budget video watcher, that you understand what's going on, because these are not going to be beneficial to you in any way if you're not able to follow along. So please, any questions you might have, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. I'm happy to help in any way that I can. So that was our March budget and baby step 3 update. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. And just a reminder that the same budgeting spreadsheet in the video is now for sale in my Etsy shop, and I'm going to leave a coupon code down below for you to get 25% off if you want to purchase and use for your own budget. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up, and I would love for you to subscribe and stick around. That's all for me today. I will see you next time. Bye!